Moving on further to our second set of the input. Give me a second to manage this technical issue, which is on the screen. All right, perfect. So you're moving on towards the second session, which is going to be presented by Mr. Ricardo Villegas, and he is our keynote speaker. Mr. Ricardo, I'm really glad to have you with us. Thank you very much for sparing time and for joining us. He is my very worthy and knowledgeable colleague, I must say, at ICLT. Let me give you a very brief overview of his bio note. Dr. Ricardo Villegas has been a teacher and teacher trainer for well over 25 years and is the founder of Top Level English and Top Level English Training Center. Dr. Ricardo studied food chemistry at UNAM and holds a BA in pedagogy and another BA in English language teaching. He is also a TESOL and CELTA certified teacher. While Mr. Ricardo said doing CELTA is my dream, so you are living my dream actually. Dr. Villegas has worked for some of the most prestigious language schools in Mexico City and has become a communicative English language expert. In addition, he has a passionate heart for professional development and has attended numerous courses including NLP coaching, mindfulness, and neurosciences. Dr. Ricardo is a member of a number of international organizations, among which we can find the Global Academy International Network from Indonesia, International Chamber of Language Teachers and organization, which is in Mexico, and I'm also a member of that. Then Mr. Ricardo is collaborating actively with Cambridge Assessment as a certified speaking examiner. He has actively participated in the UK ESOL Train the Trainer course, in courses in the University of Warmadeva, Bali, Indonesia, and also has shared his knowledge and experience with global educators from around the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a global trainer with us, and let's hand over this complete session to Mr. Ricardo for sharing the pearls of wisdom with all of us. Over to you, Mr. Ricardo. Well, meanwhile, Mr. Ricardo is settling down his technical arrangements. In this world, when we can connect easily from any and every part of the world, these technical problems hinder the smooth flow of the events at times.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I was not able to activate my microphone. So thank you very much. Okay, so good evening over there. Good morning for the people on this side of the world. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about a topic that it's related to what Mr. Hassan mentioned, yeah, that it's mindfulness. You know, I think that nowadays we are, as someone mentioned, we're more aware of the importance of emotions, right? The importance of emotions and all these things that affect, because as someone said, unfortunately, in many cases, more attention is paid to, for example, IQ, as you mentioned, right? So, give me a second, ready. Okay. But what about emotions? Yes, what about emotions? So, because they are also important. Well, you know, all these technical situations somehow put into test what I am going to preach. Yeah, so I practice what I preach. So we're going to talk about mindfulness in ELT. Okay. And before we start, I would like to get to know you. Yeah, because we are 70 people here. Oh my goodness. I think there was a situation. Give me a second because the presentation stopped. I don't know why.
No
Okay,
worries.
but
Please
well,
take your time.
yeah, thank you, Hina. Okay, so I would like to know, something about you and about your countries. So the first activity was exactly about that, yes, about getting to know your countries. Yeah, for example, I am from Mexico. Yeah, so many people know Mexico for different things. One of which is the Mexican pyramids. Yeah, in Mexico there are so many pyramids. Yeah, so I would like you to write in the chat where you are from and one thing that represents your country. Yeah, for example, as I told you, Mexico is usually associated with tacos. But in this case, well, I would say Mexico and pyramids. Yes, pyramids are very popular, very famous here in Mexico. So I would like to see. So what is your country and what word do you associate it with, please? So write it in the chat box. So I can see. Okay, please. Pakistan hospitality. Okay, thank you. What else? What else? Okay, which other country and which other characteristic, which word do you associate? Azerbaijan oil. Okay, great. Okay, good. So then we have city Pakistan winds. Oh my goodness, it's like I think that it would be like Chicago, right? The windy city. Mhm. Okay, great. Very well. Good. Now, let me tell you while the presentation opens. And I have an interesting, an interesting story, an interesting anecdote about this presentation, because mindfulness is somehow to control your mind and not to think about usually negative things. And let me tell you that when I first presented this same presentation 2 years ago, a similar situation happened. Oh, a similar situation happened. I was ready to join the session, and there were some technical glitches, And how long can you wait, especially to join, especially if you're the presenter, without getting nervous? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Well, imagine I was waiting in the waiting room for 1 minute, nothing happened. Yeah. 3 minutes, nothing happened. 5 minutes, nothing happened. Yeah. Well, after 30 minutes, I was allowed in. So how can you imagine I was feeling? Yeah, because I was the presenter. And I was like, what's going on? Yeah, what's going on? I have not even joined the room, So honestly, at the beginning, yes, I was like getting nervous. But then I saw that the title of my presentation, and I was like, hey man, that's not logical. Yeah, that's not congruent. Yeah. I am going to present something about mindfulness, how to control your mind, and I am getting nervous. And it has to do with the previous presentation about EQ and so on. So I was like, no, take it easy. Nothing happens, because in the end, this kind of situations are out of our control, right? And that's what we have to understand, that certain situations are not in our hands. Okay, so okay, here we go. So they are not in our hands. So, and the same applies to all teachers. I mean, how many times have we had a bad day? Yes, how many times have we had a day, and despite that, we have a class to teach? right? So I would like you to write in the chat box if you have had a bad day, a terrible day when you didn't want to teach, and despite that you had to. Yes, could you please write in the chat box like me. Yes, I have. Because apart from this one, apart from this situation that I have just explained, there was another situation in which I was going to work and I crashed, and anyway, I had to get to work. I had to teach my class, and of course, I had to start my class like smiling, like, hello guys, good morning, and so on. And in those cases, it's when you control your emotions, when you have to be present. Okay. So now, oh my goodness. Another question. Do you practice mindfulness yourselves? I would like to know if you do practice mindfulness. Okay, yes. Some people say yes, they do. Okay, rarely. Okay, but you do. Okay. Now, if you do, what are the benefits that you have seen? What are the benefits? Because yeah, definitely there are some benefits to practicing mindfulness, But firstly, what is mindfulness? And I like this image because if you have ever tried to do this one, it is an activity that keeps you concentrated, that keeps you focused. Yeah, in fact, I do have some small pebbles that I try to do. To put all up stage together. Yeah, and to keep the balance, because that helps you to be mindful. So according to this definition, as a community, we need to sit down and learn how to cherish life by being fully present for one another. I think that is one of the terms of mindfulness, to be present, fully present right here, right now, paying attention to what we are doing, to what we are feeling. And well, in that case, it would also mean to understand what we are feeling, what was presented a moment ago. So mindfulness means to be aware of what that is happening in our present experience, observing with compassion, insight, and intention to create joy. That's more important, or more importantly, because as we said, well, as I said a moment ago, we humans, we think thousands, we have thousands of thoughts every day. And unfortunately, most of those thoughts are negative, because we start thinking like in this case, right? Like, oh my goodness, the presentation doesn't work. Oh my goodness, I hope there is no internet connection problem. Oh, I hope my battery doesn't run out of battery. And we think negative things. Yeah, but here the point is like to be present right here, right now. And right now, the presentation is working well. Right now, the computer has battery. Right now, the connection is stable. So that's what we have to focus on, rather than focusing on other things, because that's when we start getting stressed, getting anxiety and so on, because we start thinking things that might not even happen. Many of those negative things that we have every day, they don't even happen. Okay, so that's what we have to understand. And once again, this is related to the emotional quotient, emotional intelligence, right? So now here the question, because we are teachers. So why should we use mindfulness in our classroom? Well, to begin with, we as teachers, we have to be calm. Yeah, because especially if you work with a very with noisy children, a very boisterous environment, sometimes that creates stress. So, and I have seen teachers that in order to control the students who are somehow noisy, they try shouting. They shout. So I ask those teachers, well, if you keep or if you speak loud all the time, so what will happen when you have when you will have to use your a loud voice, when you have to speak up in order to call the students' attention, So so that's why we need to be calm. Yes, first of all, we need to be calm in order to transmit that to our students. So then mindfulness helps us to strengthen inner peace and prevent stress. That's what I have said, right? That, for example, in this situation right now, that apparently everything was going wrong, you have to keep calm and think, well, everything happens for a reason. Yeah, I am in control of the situation, not the opposite. The situation doesn't control me. Yeah. So I am in control of the situation. If something is going wrong, for example, a moment ago that the presentation wouldn't work, well, I can speak. I remember what I prepared, so I start talking about that. And if I skip the part, like for example, at the beginning, there were some pyramids that I didn't show because the situation, this technical glitch. So I am in control of the situation. So that's why you prevent that stress. Then it sharpens our senses and helps us see clearly what is happening in and around us. Because it helps us understand that we are feeling stressed, that we're feeling nervous, especially, for example, when students are going to have an exam, or well, I mentioned it in a moment, but it helps us sharpen our senses, for example, for listening. Some students find it difficult to listen to the recordings, but if you help them, if you teach them to clear their mind, to focus on the moment and pay attention to what they are actually listening, it helps. So that the senses are sharpened. Also, avoid falling into the grip of emotions and reacting unconsciously. For example, some students I have seen that they try to pronounce a word and they are not able to do so, so they feel frustrated. So you say, okay, nothing happens, take it easy, take a deep breath, try to repeat, and it's just practice, so don't feel frustrated. So once that you know how you're aware of how you're reacting to the situations, you can control the way you react to those emotions. Also, I said, you can concentrate and avoid being distracted by our thoughts. And that's especially helpful. For example, in my case, I specialize in preparing students for certification exams. And believe me that some students get very distracted. I have noticed that with the reading, with the listening, they get distracted. So we have to teach them. We have to teach them to focus, to focus. And as I tell them, understand that you are doing an exam and it will take you, for example, a reading, it will take you 15 minutes. So focus during 15 minutes. After that, well, you can think about the things that you're worried about or something. But at the moment, be mindful, be here, be right now here and understand what you are doing. That you are doing the exam. So answer the exam as well as possible and continue. Then, okay, it supports contagious joy and ethic of altruism. When we help them, when we help students, when we are good, we can help, because if we don't feel good with ourselves, how can we help others? Sometimes that's such a heavy burden for ourselves, right? So that's why we need to help them clear their mind and to be present right here, right now. And then we create a more harmonious and fruitful environment. So that's why we should use mindfulness in our classroom. Okay, so next, what are the benefits of using mindfulness? Well, here it is important, as I mentioned a moment ago, self-regulation. Yes, it has to do with emotional quotient, emotional awareness, emotional intelligence, that we have to learn to see, to understand ourselves and how we react to different things. Yeah, so, and I know that it's not an easy task. This is not an easy task, because especially when we start, because definitely if we don't practice it frequently, we keep reacting.
We get angry, we get frustrated. So that's why we need to practice awareness meditation on a regular basis. Also, it helps self-examination. Yeah, so explore what we feel, what our fears are. You know, many students are afraid of speaking because they feel that somebody else is going to make fun of them, or because they don't pronounce well, when in fact they do pronounce very well. They have very good pronunciation. So in this case, we have to reflect, am I doing it right or not? If I am, okay, congratulate yourself. If you are not doing it right, well, correct it, practice, keep practicing, and you will improve. Also, it helps us for self-transcendence. Okay, in this case, and unity, we have, when we have this sense of unity, we have this responsibility. For example, as teachers, we are here to share our knowledge, right? I mean, when we're in class, we teach, okay, the present simple, the simple past, regular verbs, irregular verbs, and so on. But also we can teach something beyond that. You know, we can teach other topics that are not or that don't have to do with
academic aspects. And we feel that responsibility for our students. You know, sometimes I have seen some teachers that are so concerned about teaching, about performing well at teaching, that they don't pay attention, that they neglect this emotional aspect. So we have to take responsibility of the whole class. And of course, well, we reach the level of selflessness in which we are going to help others without expecting anything, yes, in exchange. So then here we have some key concepts. For example, here, talking about decentering. So we have to observe something without identifying with it. And this is from Stephen Covey, from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So, you know, it's like certain things happen, okay? Something happens, but you don't have to identify with it. Yeah, because sometimes, once again, if you mispronounce something, if something wrong happens, once again, like in this case, if there is a power failure or internet connection problem, I mean, that's not my responsibility. Yes, I'm not going to feel bad about that. Yes, of course, I have a responsibility of being here, but if that is not in my hands, so I don't have to think that I am a bad teacher, a bad person because the internet failed. Okay, so also do not judge, because also, unfortunately, on Facebook, in many groups that I am a member of, I see people who ask probably basic questions, not silly, there are no silly questions, but people who ask basic questions, and there people judge, people make fun. So it's just a question. So help, yeah, help, don't make fun, don't judge. If someone, I don't know, again, to say something, if we belong to a group of people who do exercise, and you see someone smoke, I mean, don't judge. It's their experience. They know why they smoke or why they eat meat. Yeah, because also I have seen that one, for example, with vegans, that they are very cruel, very, very extreme. So I mean, not everybody is the same. So in fact, I think that this diversity, the diversity is what makes life interesting. So don't judge. Then, for example, here, that's what I say, a student arriving late. You know, also, as a teacher, especially as a strict teacher who follows rules, you can see that a student arrives late, so you don't let him in. Yeah, you don't let him in, or you tell him, well, some, I don't know what kind of punishments you know or you use, but I have seen that some people say, okay, you're going to dance to certain music, or you're going to bring chocolates next class or whatever, but you don't know what happened. Yeah, probably, and unfortunately, yes, I have seen cases when the student says, teacher, I arrived late because I was mugged. So imagine he was mugged, and apart from that, you punish him. That's not fair. Yeah, or he had an accident or something. Okay, so here what we have to do is like to pay attention to the stimulus and pay attention what the reaction we have is. Yeah, because usually we have an automatic reaction, right? There is a problem, there is a mistake, and we react negatively. Okay, so when we have that stimulus, we have to choose, okay, how am I going to react? Yeah, that's why a moment ago I said that mindfulness is about creating joy. I mean, something positive. Yes, something positive. But we can choose. Yeah, we can choose how we are going to react. In fact, one of a friend of mine that I knew, and he talks about life purpose and so on. That's what he says, that happiness is a choice. We can choose. Yes, we can choose to be happy. Yeah, so it's as simple as that. Then also another central idea is this identification. What is it? So, okay, we have feelings, we have emotions, yeah, but not just because something makes me angry, it means that I am a bad person, or that I am, yes, a grouchy person. Yes, I am angry all the time. No, at the moment, yes, of course, it was something that made me react like that, because that is an automatic reaction. Yeah, that's an automatic reaction. But then I can control it. Yeah, for example, you know, it is common amongst teachers that we want to be right. You know, that we want to be right. And there are heated discussions, heated arguments about who is right or who is wrong. And remember that the purpose of an argument is to learn something, to agree, to yeah, to move forward. Yeah, so probably I don't agree with what a teacher says, but I don't have to be right. Yes, simply it is his perception, that's his idea, and we need to respect it and don't get like angry because of because of having a difference in opinion, you know. Okay, so well, as I said, you don't always, or we don't always need to be right. Yeah, because that's why we are different. Okay. Okay, so now here, you know, these ones, we usually have this kind of vicious circle. Yeah, this vicious circle. Yes, we are unconscious of what we feel. Yeah, sometimes we have this alienation. We don't talk to people. It makes us feel bad. Yeah, and it creates some dissatisfaction, some frustration. Yeah, and as we feel frustrated and we don't control it consciously, we have this vicious circle. Yeah. However, if we change, yeah, and we are conscious, we know how we feel. We know we can react differently to that situation. Okay, and then we create joy. We create joy. So in that case, we are creating a virtuous circle instead of that vicious circle. Okay, so that's why it is important to know, to be aware of how we feel. Yeah. Now here, how can learners benefit? Yeah, how can learners benefit? Well, okay, for example, if we have a disrupted child, you know, a restless, rude, evasive, lazy child, you know, one of those children that you say, oh my goodness, I wish he was not in my classroom. We can understand, yeah, we can analyze the situation without judging, yeah, without judging, because you know, sometimes the first thing we do is exactly like that, yeah, especially because sometimes that child has been another teacher's student. So my fellow teacher tells me, be careful with this student or with this child because he's terrible. Yes, he is very lazy, he's very rude, he's impolite. Be careful. Yeah, be careful. So we create this prejudice, you know, we create this prejudice because my fellow worker, my fellow teacher told me that this student is a disruptive child. Okay, so what we have to do is observe their behavior. If we can, talk to them, talk to them, establish a positive and meaningful connection. Because, you know, unfortunately, we have to understand that if they have this kind of situations, it's because there is something behind. Yeah, there is something behind. They have family problems. Yeah, they have different situations. So we need to be calm, as I said, and we have to think, how can I deal with this situation? Let me tell you that at some point in my career, I worked at preschool, and I had exactly this situation. There was a child who was well known for being terrible. Dennis the Menace, you know, he was Dennis the Menace. As I had heard, he had even, I mean, it was kindergarten. He was like 6 or 7 years old, and he had hit a teacher. Yeah, they told me, be careful because this child hit a teacher. And I was like, oh my goodness. And in class, yes, he was very restless. And I talked to him, and you know, I noticed something interesting. I used to have a watch, with a chronograph, and it moved. I mean, there was a wheel that spin, and he was like, "Hey, teacher, your watch is nice. Can I wear it? Yeah, could you lend it to me?" And I was like, "Yes, okay." And I took it off. I put it on his wrist, and he was very interested, you know. And then I said, okay, now I know. So his name was Ruben. Okay, Ruben. So now, would you like to wear my watch? Yes, teacher, of course. Well, help me. Yeah, you are going to help me. And if you do the things I tell you right, I will lend you my watch. And believe me that in my class, particularly in my class, he was different. Yeah, he was very active. You know, he was restless, but he was not disruptive. He changed. So we have to try to understand the situation instead of judging. Yeah. And of course, he sat with me, we talked. Yeah, I listened to him. And as I said, I showed interest. So yes, of course, he had some family situations that, of course, I told the principal about, and they talked to the parents, right? But we need to investigate a little bit, because sometimes, as I said, children or teenagers, they have some background issues. And of course, before judging, before taking it against a student, we have to master ourselves and say, okay, I am the teacher. Yes, I am the teacher. I have a higher level of awareness. Yes, and I can manage this situation. Okay. And I always say, connection, when you have this connection with your students, everything flows, and you will create a confident student. Now, okay, how can we develop mindfulness in our classroom? That's important. How can we develop this mindfulness? Okay, so for example, basically we have to watch our breath and thoughts. So then notice how you react to the different situations that you find during the day. Yes, and interrupt the autopilot. What's that? Don't react immediately. Okay, at the beginning, as I said, you will react unconsciously. If there is a situation that alters you, of course, you are going to react to that situation. But here the point is like, okay, take it easy, calm down, breathe, and think, why am I reacting like this? How can I control the situation? What can I change? Okay, instead of reacting automatically. Then also we have to keep it regular. We have to create like this habit. So in the morning, many people suggest breathing, meditating in the morning while you are waiting, while you're queuing, or simply when you feel stressed. When you feel stressed, For example, a moment ago when the presentation started and with the technical glitches that we had, yes, I was starting to feel a bit nervous, you know. But once again, I started breathing, and right now everything has flowed. So when you feel stressed, take 5 minutes. Yeah, take 5 minutes to breathe, to relax. Yeah, then also try something new, a new way to work, sit in a different place. Or as I told you, use these kind of pebbles and try to balance them. That helps a lot because it keeps your full attention, yeah, in order to do what you're trying to do, that it's balancing the pebbles. That helps a lot. Yeah, that helps a lot. And then your mind, well, you unwind, you forget about the problem, breathe, and that will help you. And you can do that with your students, of course. Then identify the names and name the thoughts and feelings. Yeah, how do you feel? Anxious, happy? Do you feel bored? As I told you, some students say, I am afraid because my classmates, my fellow classmates, are going to laugh at me. Yes, or I feel bad because I am not as fluent as my partners. You know, so in that case, well, you have identified the thought. What can you do about it? Yes, and is that true? Is that true or not? Because in many cases, as I said, I have had many students who say, I don't speak English. Okay, well, we will work on that. Yes, we will develop your fluency and everything. And once we start working, oh my goodness, they speak very well, much better than they think. Okay, so that's why we have to analyze, okay, how do you feel? And is that true? Yeah, because in many cases that is not true. So, or what can be done about that? Yep. And finally, and this is, I think, that the sentence that summarizes the idea of mindfulness: free yourself from the past and the future and be present. Yeah, be here, right now. Yeah. And I'm going to share a breathing exercise that, personally speaking, I use with my students. As I told you, I specialize in certification exam preparation. So definitely students are very nervous when they are going to sit one of these exams because they are difficult, they are challenging, and they are expensive. They are expensive. So that's what concerns them. Like, okay, I am going to take a $200 exam, and if I don't pass it, yes, it's money wasted, right? So in this case, what I teach them, for example, for especially for the listening exercise, is this exercise that it's called square breathing. What is it? Well, of course, basically there is a square, and every side of the square lasts for 4 seconds. Okay. For example, the first part is we inhale, yes, for 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Then we hold it. Yeah, we inhale, we hold it for 4 seconds. Then we exhale, yeah, and we do it in 4 more seconds. And finally, with no air in our lungs, yeah, we hold it. Yeah, we hold that for 4 more seconds. Okay, and then we do it as many times as we need. You know, like 3, 4 times will help. And believe me, it is very relaxing. Yeah, this is very relaxing. So I think we do have some time. So if you, well, I cannot see all the 80 people that we are here, but you can practice it. You can try it right now. Close your eyes. Yeah, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And do it again. And when you close your eyes and you do this one, believe me that you relax. Yeah, some students have told me, I even fall asleep. Yes, I even fell asleep. So, well, of course, you have to keep it aware. Yeah, I mean, to do it aware. I mean, like, I am counting. That helps, you know, because when you count 1, 2, 3, 4, you focus on counting and you focus on breathing and you forget about anything else. So this one does help. You know, this activity really helps. And after I have done this activity, students are more focused. They understand listening better. They understand the readings better. Yeah, because they are focused. They are not worried about anything else. They are present in the moment, right here, right now. Okay, so that is the probably the most important point of mindfulness. And I just would like to say that happiness is in the present moment, and the only moment we are alive that is right here, right now. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am Ricardo Villegas. Those are my social networks. So if you would like to follow me. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope you have found this one useful. And then we continue with the question and answer, right?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ricardo. What a mindful session. Mindfulness was really very mindful, and it was a kind of eye-opener which has given a clear call that we as human beings should spare some time for mindfulness. Ultimately, our own being is very important, and that's what we got to know through this session as well. Thank you very much for presenting at the platform of PPDCI. I was purely honored and humbled to have you with us as keynote speaker. And I'm very sure the audience have also came up with a lot of learning. And to my surprise, I don't have any questions in the chat room. Means you went so clear that people have not asked questions. So this is all, everyone. We are a little earlier free, and that's all right. Both the sessions are done. So it's perfect to call to nearly end the program. Before ending the program, let me give a very quick recapitulation of the timing and the event happening tomorrow. You'll be using the same link, the same Zoom meeting link, which is already being shared. And other than that, tomorrow's speakers are Dr. Atir and Dr. Hamid Pawar, and they'll be speaking about their own areas of competitive learning. And then Dr. Atir is going to scaffold the learning difficulties which usually students face in the classrooms. And this is how we'll be able to help our learners more, even if you attend tomorrow's session. Let me again recall that in case if you want to apply for the certificate of PPDCI, you definitely will have to go for attending at least 10 sessions, and that's going to be the mandatory element. Attendance link is already shared here in the chat room. And in case if you have any questions, Mr. Ricardo is still available. Take the benefit of the opportunity and do ask the questions if you have any. All right, so I cannot find some questions, but there is a lot of good feedback, Mr. Ricardo. The chat room is full of appreciation, and the notes of gratitude for the way you have presented today was really very clear, that everybody got a very clear idea of mindfulness. So thank you very much for being here on the platform of PPDCI. May Allah Ta'ala bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Today's session comes to an end. Goodbye. See you tomorrow.